Courtney Tierra. I have just published my first children's book. It's called Worthy, a book for kids of all ages. And as I have been publicizing it and telling people about the book, the number one question that I receive is, where did you get the idea? And so I wanted to tell you a little bit about it. I am an education director for a local nonprofit. About a year and a half ago, I was facilitating a class on confidence and self-esteem. At one point during the class, I looked at my students and I said, "You know you're worthy, right?" And I had nothing but blank looks coming back towards me. And I was kind of taken aback. And so I asked, "Has anybody ever told you that you are worthy?" And the resounding answer was no. And from that point forward, at the end of every class, I began to say, "You're worthy and I love you." And then that trickled into, at the end of all of my emails to my students, "I love you and you're worthy." I wanted my students to know, and mind you, my students aren't K through 12 age. They were 20s, mid-30s. But I wanted them to realize that their worthiness didn't come from anything. It wasn't whether they came to class on time, whether they got a good grade on a test, whether or not they had a good paying job. That it doesn't matter. None of that matters. They're worthy just because they exist, just because they're here on this earth. And I started thinking, if these students that I get to interact with on a weekly basis, if they've never been told that they are worthy, then who else hasn't been told? And so that just kind of started ruminating in my mind. A few months later, I started thinking about all of the opportunities that I have been too afraid to take because of a lack of self-worth. And once again, I started thinking, well, how many other people have turned down opportunities because they didn't believe in themselves? And I started thinking, well, Courtney, when would the knowledge that you're worthy, when would that have affected you the most? And I decided hearing that I was worthy from my childhood probably would have affected me the most. And so the idea of writing a children's book was born. And that happened around January, February of this year, 2020. COVID then came to North America, and I remember the dates perfectly. It was March 14th and 15th. I was at a local deli using their Wi-Fi, and I decided, well, Courtney, let's just see what you would write. If you wrote a children's book, what would you write? What would you have wanted to hear? And so that's what I did. The 14th and 15th, I typed, and I found pictures that went along with what was going on in my head. And then I found a printing / publishing company, self-publishing company, and submitted to them on May 1st. And my book was available to the public on June 19th, 2020, so recently, and I am so excited. If you found me here, I appreciate you. I'm so grateful that you are here to listen to my story. I hope that you will consider purchasing Worthy for a child in your life. If you don't have any children in your life, perhaps you could gift the book to local schools or local libraries. But I just really think it's so important to instill the concept of worthiness from childhood on. A child that believes in themselves can not only change their life, they can change the lives of everybody around them. And so, once again, I'm grateful you're here. Thank you for spending a few minutes with me. And I'm going to treat you like I do my students. I'm going to end this by saying, I love you and you're worthy. Bye.